Exactly. You'd mentioned food. So for Yonkat, the city, it's supposed to be kind of like up in the north, almost like an Arctic tundra. And the tundra part being that it's not always frozen over, that there is still greenery. You know, there's still life there. You can grow food. It's not great. More like almost like a Scandinavian, Greenland type feel, being up north. And so we, just because we're super nerds, we're like, what kind of food would they grow here, and how would the warlock patron relationship play into that? And so as one of our stretch goals, I think it's coming up in a couple, we actually have someone, and I won't give any details away because it'll be released with the goal, working on specifically what the food of this city would be like. So when you go to the Grey Fawn Tavern, and ours would be probably like the Hexblade Hovers Tavern or something, I don't know, whatever, what type of menu items they'd have. And then to actually have characters, and we have quests around this, to be able to learn how to craft those for themselves and get specific boons and abilities based off of that they could then bring back to wherever they go otherwise for their quest. Now you'd have to get the ingredients for it, and some of these ingredients may only be specific to Yonkat. Maybe you bring some with you. And so we just try to make it as immersive as possible to give the storyteller those details, so they can really sink their teeth into it.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's what makes it good DM, is really like, the details and making it feel like, imaginative, and you're there, and it's not just fighting nonstop, right? Even like in battles, like if you just have everyone acts like a zombie and they walk up to you and wait to get hit in the face with a sword. Yeah, like that's boring, right? It's just the goblins act like the kobolds, act like the zombies, act like the orcs. Like it's like the book, the monsters know what they're doing, right? Like they should be all different, right? It makes it memorable. Like how do you fight goblins? How do you fight kobolds? What's the difference? Like, how do you fight a dragon? Like, they should all have different techniques, and you should have to have different ways of fighting them, and shouldn't just be like, oh, wait till they walk up and hit them with a sword.
Right. Yeah. Are you in their cone of perception? No, not yet. Okay. Well, they then just stand there. Yeah. That's not fun at all. So we actually have the player characters like fighting some Elrich creatures, and so we have dynamics of how those entities would act and do act. And almost treating it in certain stages of if you do this, the creature does this. If your characters or players do this other thing, this is how they'll react. Because the GM doesn't want to have to just make up all that on the fly. Again, you really want to like equip them with like that, the bat belt, the utility belt, so they have something that they can then throw down and have it ready to go, knowing how to respond to player agency. Otherwise, it just feels like you're on train tracks, just moving forward, and that's not fun for a player. You really want to feel like your choices matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you got to make more like, I mean, you guys know this, you're writing the adventure, but yeah, it's like more like a what's it called, a lot open world. You kind of can do, feels like you can do whatever you want, as opposed to like, if you don't go to this place, the story ends, or you kill this NPC, the story ends. It's like still a living, breathing world. Like stuff should still be happening.
So interesting that you mentioned that. So in the Red Opera, and not many campaign books and settings have this. There are multiple endings to our story, and so let's say you're playing that paladin cleric style, or even wizards don't really like warlocks either, at least not in the games I've played. And let's say you just want to, like, I don't know if you guys use profanity or your thing, so burn the mother down, raise the whole city. That could be your character's goal, understandably so. And you can even be lawful good and want to do that. Obviously maybe it'd be like lawful neutral, I don't know, but let's say you really want to just end it, just be done. You don't like patrons. We have a path for that in the book, where if your characters and if the party just wants to just raise the city and destroy all warlocks, there is an option for that, and it's a fully fledged ending. And we're cool with that. Again, we want our players and our GMs to enjoy this setting, even if they want to destroy it. That's okay. It's like build a Lego tower and smash it down, and build it again and make it better the next time. Do whatever you want. That's the fun of D&D and tabletop RPGs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm a little bit on the alignment. I find it a little bit weird, because I mean, once you get into philosophy, it's like, what is good, what is evil?
Totally.
And someone's good could be someone else's evil, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Like the lawful good paladin that wants to kill all orcs. Is that really
Right.
good?
Yeah, not for the orcs, man. The orcs don't like that.
That's genocide, right?
Yeah.
He wants to commit genocide. That somehow that's good. And so it's like comes from a kind of perspective of a duality in logic where it's all either it's all good or it's all bad, and that's not really real life. And even physical universe doesn't work that way. There is no 100% good and 100% bad, or even there's.
You sound like a warlock. You sound like I think you believe you belong in Young Cat. You sound like a warlock to me.
There you go. Right. But yeah, so that for me, it's like, yeah, I mean, when I run it, I don't know. I guess I also kind of run a little more grittier campaign, more realistic when I play. And so it's like, there is I always make it if they go out and try to kill the orcs, then it's like the orc kids come out, and like,
yeah.
And so it's like, it makes the characters question, am I actually doing the right thing?
Totally.
Right.
Well, it's like the anime Goblin Slayer. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. David, have you seen Goblin Slayer?
No, it's always like popping out.
Trigger warning. Just trigger warning for anyone that wants to watch Goblin Slayer. Even in the first episode, trigger warning. But they have that. So goblins are bad in this world, very bad. And there's a man who is a Goblin Slayer, and he has to go. This is not the trigger of the trigger warning. I'm not giving much away. He has to go and he slays these goblin like little babies, basically. The way that goblin babies are made is not a good way for humans. So he is like purging them, but it still is this notion of like, you are killing something. It is dying, even if it's a parasite creature. And you got to come to terms with that somehow. It's an interesting anime. I only watched a little bit of it. It was a little much for me personally, but
I think I've heard of it somewhere, but I don't really watch too much of anything. So
that's not if you're just diving into anime, that's not the one to do, in my opinion. No hate on Goblin Slayer, but
yes, but I like to make that gray shades of gray, and it's like, like is it really, and I sounds like that's what you guys are doing. Like, are you really doing the right thing? You want to kill everything. You want to go and and even like I'll make characters like I made a orc barbarian. He wanted vengeance for adventurers that slaughtered his whole tribe. Right.
Totally.
And I was playing online like on some server, but he was like, he thought humans were evil. All humans are evil.
Understandably, I makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that kind of stuff. I don't know. This stuff just makes it interesting, right? And so everywhere he goes, he's like, humans are evil, right? And people freak out.
Yeah. And the cool thing is so a lot of people asked us like, what's your take on orcs? Are they bad? We're like, no, orcs are orcs. It's just and even this notion of like the different species versus races too. Like it's just another entity. It's another creature there. And within Red Opera, Yonkath is kind of this place for misfits and outcasts, because that's really what a warlock is. Like they don't, they in a lot of times like you have to train and you get better, and so they have their own skills, but they like bargain for a piece of their soul to get abilities. Like that just naturally makes you a little bit of an outcast. And so other outcasts come too, such as orcs and other creatures. And so this is a weird hodgepodge kind of mismatch, tapestry of a city. And there's actually 2 cities lined up connected by bridges too. And so it's just a really fun, unique place. I think GMs are going to love it. And I think players are going to love their GMs running even their pre-existing parties through it. It's just wonderful.
Sounds very cool. Yeah, I'd say this same Warlocks always have the same thought. Like, wouldn't most people consider them evil? They're literally making a pact with a demon.
Yeah,
or some other world entity, like unless it's like the Fae or something, then fine. They're probably okay with the elves. Elves don't care. But if you're literally making a pact with a demon or devil or the great old one, like why would other people even want you around?
Clerics don't like you. Paladins don't like you much either. And wizards are like, why don't you just go study yourself? Like, why don't you just learn how to do these things instead of selling your soul? And the warlock's like, why would I spend all that time? I can just, siphon off a piece of my soul and then maybe go try and kill my patron to get all of his abilities. And then the clerics are like, and that's why I don't like you.
Yeah. Or, they're like power hungry. I mean, it's kind of like definitely more of a villain type character setup, I think. And that's like, I think you're right. I think it was like originally some kind of villain thing. And I don't know, they just want to I always wonder like, why is charisma the warlock ability? It it seems kind of weird to me. Like, it seems more like an intelligence. Because the way it's described is like they're studying and they're trying to get power and they make it pact with the demon. It seems like if you're studying, it'd be intelligence based. Like you didn't talk your way into doing it out of nowhere.
So I think, and I don't know, but after working on this project and, in-house, these are the conversations we have. Is like, why is it set up this way? How do we leverage it to the benefit of the player? I think it's around the notion of how they strike their deals and how they negotiate their pacts with their patron. And so having charisma being one of those main stats is like, how well of a negotiator are you? Can you, and charisma in a lot of ways is very manipulative, actually. If you think about like social emotional intelligence, just means getting what you want through like social means, which is like, that's kind of a warlock. We've kind of played on that with the charisma stat. So we have, I'm trying to remember the exact name of it. I'd have to look and it's I believe either our current stretch goal or one of the ones that we're working on next, maybe the next one, where we have a subclass that is this kind of like puppet master of a warlock subclass and really uses the charisma stat to be able to have these other people, and they can like walk into a battlefield, and this is a high level, obviously, and like a marionette control people around them to have them do their bidding. And you can then actually bind people as your own pets and familiars to have them do things for you. Now, again, these are higher levels and we have it, scaled for power ascension. But this notion of really leveraging charisma to get people to do things for you and how that plays out from this puppet master perspective.
That can create really interesting conflicts during gameplay. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it definitely sounds more of something we consider evil by
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, you get your necromancer and your oathbreaker paladin and you're good to go. Maybe your death domain cleric, and
absolutely
you got a party there.
Yeah, we've got another that's a soul thief, and so this person almost a la like one of the other Rick Hines was joking around talking about like Highlander. I don't know if you remember the old Highlander TV show. I just love that show so much. You chop off their heads and you steal their souls. Kind of like that idea of being able to actually steal the soul of another NPC, or hell, even maybe a player character, and you gain their abilities too. And we have that kind of all played out through this subclass of the warlock. And again, this is a not nice warlock, so we have both. We have like good positive warlocks, so you can still play a warlock that, as you mentioned, like one of the Fey deities potentially, or like a dryad or something, a very powerful Fey creature, and they may not be evil, maybe more neutral. But some of these things that you do pact with, they're bad news, man. The only reason that we have fun talking about it is because this is make-believe. It's just not real.
Exactly.
If these things were real, you would not want to have anything to do with them whatsoever.
Well, yeah, you want warlocks to be not persona non grata, like you wouldn't want them in your city.
At all. And that's why they have to go make their own city. And that's why we had so much fun with this, just playing in Fantasyland, basically.
Yeah. Cool. Nice. Let's see. We have anything else? When's this... when does it launch?
Like for the book to be done? Yes. So great question. So we have our core book is already finished. We're super proud about that. A lot of people will bring stuff to Kickstarter and it's like not even remotely close to done. Sometimes they only have like a few images and maybe a cover if you're lucky. We were like, no, F that. Like, we're bringing at least the finished product of what we can do now. It's one of the reasons we set our goal so low. With our original goal of $10,000, that's enough for the print run. We don't get paid, but we were like, you know what? It's out there. We hope people enjoy it. Then we said, but if you'd like to have it be even better, here's some stretch goals. Keep it at the same price point. And the MSR actually now will rise after the Kickstarter to $60. Currently, it's only $50. So you can still get it for $50 now for the base book, or $30 for the PDF. But when it goes out in the marketplace, it's going to be $10 more because we're adding a lot of extra content. Because of that, though, it's, we have to write it. We have to do art for it. So I am assuming it'll be like probably second quarter 2021. So like probably book in hand by, summer, early summer, maybe late spring of 2021. And it's going to be a much better book because of it. We're adding a lot of stuff. Almost, I think I was talking to Rick the other day, the lead writer. I think we've almost added like an additional like 60, maybe 70,000 words. So we're adding a lot of content for people.
Wow.
And that's if we hit all of our stretch goals, which if our little numbers keep going up the way they've been going, we will hit those. But we need people to then keep sharing it and tell their fellow gamers about it so we can hit all those goals and make the best book possible.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, you almost got 100K there, so.
Yeah, pretty soon. Yeah, we hope to just keep rocking and rolling, and yeah, just we're putting all that money back into the creation of actually making this hopefully like the Warlock guide and player guide, GM guide. So people might even just pick it up if as a GM if they they have a player come and say, hey, I want to roll a Warlock, and the GM's never done that before. They can read this book. Boom, they know everything there is to know about Warlocks. Like done. Nice. All in one place.
Cool. Yeah. That's pretty awesome. Let's see. What else do you want to ask? I think that's about it. Do you have anything else you wanted to add?
We're just excited about gaming. Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Please support the Kickstarter. The redopera.com will bring you right there. And this is now a really good time to get in while the Kickstarter is still live, and we still have a bunch of time left. So redopera.com, check it out.
Cool. Oh yeah, and you guys, I assume it's going to go out to like Amazon and all the local game stores and all that stuff as well.
It'll be all over the place. And we have a tier actually for specifically for retail stores, so they can get in and get an even higher discount versus when we do our distribution. And we do distribution through Nord Games. They've been really wonderful. Huge shout out to Chris, their CEO. Chris, you rock. Through Nord Games, where the book will be available really anywhere. And obviously people can reach out to us at Apotheosis Studios directly to have it stocked in their stores too. And people can buy it right off of our website or Amazon. I think we'll be on Drive-Thru RPG for PDFs and things like that. So people can get it post Kickstarter, no worries. But we'll be doing pre-orders all the way up until the actual like launch distribution at a, I think, semi-discounted rate. We'll have to see, and that'll be through BackerKit. Cool.
All right. And then for anyone who wants to make their own content, what would be a like own adventures and stuff like that? What would be a good way to start?
Man, that's a really great question. So we actually kind of found that there's not really a lot of great resources for that. So our next project hopefully will tackle some of that for people who just kind of want to write their own campaigns. Just kind of sitting down, I'd say read as many RPG books as you can and then piece something together. My real suggestion and what has worked for me, so I'm a published, fantasy sci-fi author, and I still sometimes have trouble writing my own campaigns because a story is very different than an RPG setting where your players have agency and can choose. So my suggestion would be to run a bunch of other people's campaigns and then write your own. And Storytellers Forge, hopefully, and again, we're not 100% sure how that project's going to come about. We hope to be doing it in the future. Will really be a guide for GMs to write their own content. And we're going to provide all of the equipment that they need, and I mean equipment as a storyteller equipment, to be able to craft those compelling stories for their players.
Okay, cool. And then one last thing is what are you guys planning on doing next? What's your next project?
We hope it to be Storytellers Forge. We'll see how it goes, and then potentially another class. We also have another really awesome graphic novel that we're working on called Shadow of the Moon. We're really excited about that, and we'll be turning that into a video game as well. So Shadow of the Moon will be a great opportunity for people to see a little bit more storytelling perspective, and it's less on the gaming side until we turn it into a video game. And people that are interested in that kind of graphic novel style, but still in line with our art style, can check out our last project, which is called The Last Amazon. You just go to thelastamazon.com, and it's a near future sci-fi set in the year 2050 after a worldwide nuclear holocaust in 2025. We're really proud of that book. David Granjo's art in that is amazing.
Thank you.
Nice, cool. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll have to check that. I think I saw that when I was looking at your website. I'll have to look at it a little bit more deeply.
Yeah, take a look. It's a really cool story. Very poignant too for just the chaos that we're in right now too. We're very, very, very proud of it.
Nice. Yeah, this post-apocalypse or whatever, this future cyberpunk, all that kind of stuff always seem to fit our.
I know, it's like we're living it now.
Exactly.
We're living it.
Yeah.
The beginning, but yeah.
Exactly. It feels like there's a lot of parallels to what's going on.
Totally.
kind of scary ones.
Exactly.
Hopefully it will end better than the books
Than ours.
and all the stories.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hopefully. All right, cool. So let's end off here on the recording.